So you've been asking, a few of you have anyways, for a Cardano exit plan. Why not? I don't hold it. I did hold it. I've held it twice actually, 2017 and 2020. Did very well. Not holding this time around. However, I do like it. I think it's awesome. And I like it even more now due to the recent news that Cardano will be using Substrate, the foundation of the Polkadot deck, which is amazing. So they're building out their partner chain project, showcasing Substrate's potential. Pretty big, and two projects that I obviously like very much. Now, let's look at the obvious. It looks pretty disgusting when you look at the prices, but that's the obvious. 92% drop, pretty much. Well, let's just say 93% drop in terms of the high to the low. But that's fine. Nothing to worry about here. Just put your fires out. But let's have a little look at potential exit plans. I will look at the BTC pair as well. If you want to know more about BTC pairs, check out Learning Crypto, link below. There's also a YouTube channel there for free analysis. Helpful. However, I'm just going to say this now. There's some big juicy discounts coming out soon, because on the 12th of November, it's the 5th birthday of the company. I know, 5 years in crypto, doing company stuff. Mental. I've been here before that, but you get the idea. Wow, how many companies last 5 years in crypto? I know. So there's going to be a nice juicy discount. Okay, let's talk about the obvious. The pricing of potential exit plan. Now, this one I'm doing off the cuff. I've got nothing written down next to me. I'm just going to do it and wing it, right? Because it's kind of a really nice structured chart, this, in my opinion. Obviously, we want to use a fib for a little bit of guidance, but we don't want to go fully on that. The reason why I say that, it's good to look at levels as well. Key levels is huge. But we've also got to kind of see where we bought from. Now, if you're buying today, you want to may wait a little bit for a bit of profit taken. But if you were buying at the bottoms, literally 22 cents, give or take around that mark, you may be looking around dollar levels to kind of take some money off the table. The dollar is the first obvious key level here. It was a big juicy level that didn't break for a while. And then once it broke, it kind of did break quite significantly, right? So when we're looking at this, for me, it's kind of obvious. You've got to do some TP at a dollar. Oopsie, you get the idea, right? If you've watched these videos before, you'll know the format. I will be putting the chart of this in my Patreon so you can see them all. I've got a list of them all, so maybe in like, I don't know, 2 years' time, we can have a look and see where we're going, and we're like, oh my God, crazy, take profit, panicking. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. So that's the first obvious one. The next obvious one, you can kind of see it. It's kind of clear and obvious. This level just above the 382, right? Not on 382, just above it. Multiple levels, right? I think this one's more of an obvious level, just above that region. I don't want to go too much with the fib, but you kind of get the idea in terms of that $1.40 mark, give or take, around that point, because it had a lot of wick spikes in between it. Yes, there's some levels here, but this one looks a little bit more fun. Next one, and an obvious one, and this is where we've got to try and turn it up a little bit in terms of the obvious kind of levels. Now, when we look at the 50% mark, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at this up here. I'm looking at this rejection level up here, this deviation just below the 618 levels. There's been a nice little support bounce here. There's been a multiple levels of rejections and a massive deviation through it, and then it acted as levels of resistance. I think that level isn't bad. Roughly between $1.80, $1.90, and I would take 20% off the table there for me. That would be a pretty nice level. Now, when we start looking at the maths here, if you were buying even today, going up to that level, that's still a nice 5x. For a big asset, that's pretty good. Now, obviously, yes, you've still got 60% in the market. But I'm going to add another one in here as well, because I think when we start getting towards that all-time high level, you've got to look at this level. Roughly $2.40, $2.30, give or take, around this point, where these rejections have been. Kind of makes obvious sense in my viewpoint. And then from there on, as we know, you want to let it run. Potential areas of taking profits, obviously up here, cool. Kind of runs away though, doesn't it, when you think about it in that sense? So if we're going to look at this level, from this point up to kind of here, realistically, let it run, see where it goes. Obviously, own discretion, own risk profile in terms of what you want to do there. For me, I still think that Cardano will go beyond its all-time high. I still rate it quite highly. I think it's going to be a massive pillar in the cryptocurrency space, essentially. But for me, we're not going to make mega money if we keep trying to buy, at like 30 cents and it going up to like $4. Yes, you'll make decent money if you've got decent bags, but risk profile and all that, maybe you're a maxi, you've got a load of it. You, like me, maybe you've been buying this for a long time. Obviously, this cycle I'm not. Depends on how much you've got, for obvious reasons, right? Let's just make that clear. Anyways, let's look at the obvious in terms of the BTC pair. One final look. Obviously, as I say, I'll put it on my Patreon. If you are interested now, BTC pair, bit more interesting. Again, it's melted quite a lot. There might be a lot of BTC in this for a lot of people. So if we go from low to high, it says fallen 87% versus BTC. Shit. Yeah, like most things, right? I'm going to whiz through this a little bit faster because I think that this is more, you know, an obvious kind of tale. This one is a bit more interesting for obvious reasons. Why? Because the BTC pair has a lot more weight versus USD. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes to say 180,000, this may not go anywhere near unless it really runs. We may not get anywhere near all-time high, but you got to look at what you can get, right? So obviously, if you put one BTC into this, maybe you've got one BTC already into this. You know, if you're looking at some of these levels, like for obvious reasons, if you're doing a 3 or a 4x, yeah, cool, right? That's a nice chunk of money. So some people though, it doesn't really resonate as well. Anyways, 10% off here, kind of obvious. Levels of resistance, levels of support. Again, a little bit of a consolidation range. It's kind of an obvious between this 1500 level, right? The next obvious point, you can kind of see, it's kind of clear. I'm not using a fib for this one. Around this point here, you can't not take profit off at this point because you've got, again, levels of resistance all the way through, and obviously a little bit of level support here if you're going to just plonk it up a little bit higher. There you go. So that is roughly 2,500, give or take, around that point. That's kind of clear. Now, again, what I'm going to say here is do this instead. If I was to play this, you just got to look at the minerals of the high capitalization coin. You should have more in this than lower caps. But most importantly, if you are buying around this point here where we are right now, and you've not taken anything off the table and you made a 2x in your BTC holding, so let's just say a random example, if you've put 0.1 BTC into this, which is quite a lot of money, and you basically doubled it and a bit more, cool. That's, you know, you may well have 0.3 BTC just kicking around randomly. It's like, oh wow, that's cool. You should probably take something off the table, right? Just saying. Now, again, when we go even higher, that being said, we've got to look at this juicy level up here. Levels breaking around this point, a level of resistance. It's not the greatest of levels in the world, but it's kind of an obvious level when we think about the time frame of it as well. You know, realistically, how high can it go? We don't know. This is the thing. If BTC has a fantastic run, you are probably going to be, you know, matured in price in the USD pair, right? Which may well make it more interesting. So try and, you know, be careful with where you want to go. Now again, final one, obvious one, let's be honest here. There. That's kind of simple. I would probably do the same with this one, 20% off. After that, you're kind of on your own. But realistically, I don't think it's going to go this high, my personal opinion, because of the power of BTC and for the fact that the matter of the situation, what's happened in the past. Well, this is why. And I know it's a bit of a curveball to throw at you, but I do feel that this is going to be the case. I think we will not break this all-time high because we've never done it in this one. Bitcoin is powerful. Bitcoin is slowly depleting the returns of altcoins, but obviously that doesn't mean you're going to not make money. So try not to go too ballsy and go, wow, it's going to go. Some things will, some things won't, right? As I said, I will repeat it, sorry. If BTC goes, say, $180,000, yeah, your Cardano would be worth a lot more money in terms of USD, but it may actually only go here. It may actually only go here, right, in terms of the BTC pairs. May not even get anywhere near that. You just don't know, right? So we're going to be so careful. And then after that, obviously, as you know, let it run. But I'm not going to annotate that because that's kind of obvious. But yeah, hopefully this gives you some clarity. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription, whatever. I do appreciate the support and I do thank you for the suggestions on a Cardano one. But yeah, if you want to see these, I will put it into my Patreon.